Hello, my friends. Welcome in and welcome back. My name is Amanda. Thank you for supporting my channel and sharing your time and energy with me today. In today's reading, we are celebrating you and all of your achievements, as well as maybe taking a peek at some rewards that are coming in for all of your hard work and effort that you've been putting into a job, a business, yourself. But really, because the monthly readings, the Thursday readings, the last two have been a little bit on the heavy side, I thought I would do a reading that was a little more uplifting and that was congratulating you, celebrating you, and getting you to even acknowledge some of the successes and wonderful things in your life that you already have. A lot of the times, this is the key to manifestation, is to already acknowledge the things that you have in your life and the things that you've achieved thus far. Acknowledging your successes, acknowledging your strengths. So that's what this reading is all about today. And this is timeless, so whenever you come across it, there will be something here to align you to your highest good. And remember to take what messages are aligning and confirming for you and kindly leave the rest for someone else. So if you're ready to get into your pile, you can click on the timestamp in the description box or pin comments. However, if you would like me to introduce you to these soul paths, let me do that now. For Soul Path 1, we have the Six of Wands from the Steampunk Tarot and the Tiger's Eye Stone. For Soul Path 2, we have the Six of Wands from the Unfolding Path Tarot with the Purpurate Stone. And for Soul Path 3, we have the Six of Wands from the Everyday Witch Tarot with the red selenite stone. So when you are ready, use your intuition to click on the timestamp for your reading, and we will see you over there. Hello, Soul Path 1. Welcome to your reading. So you chose the Six of Wands from the Steampunk Tarot and the Tiger's Eye Stone. Just as I was getting into your reading, the flame or the candle burnt out. It exhausted itself. So I almost wonder if that's part of why you may not be seeing some of your successes or acknowledging your achievements, because you are exhausted. You're tired. Maybe you have really been working really hard to get to a specific goal, but you're not seeing all of the small little wins along the way because you have not yet reached that big goal. And there's almost an energy, a bit of a Nine of Wands energy, where you've been pushing really hard and you've been seeing growth, but I don't think there's been a moment of stopping to really acknowledge how far you've come in the last 6 months, a year, 2 years. So that could be for somebody. But before we get into the actual tarot reading, I want to open up the reading with a couple of oracle cards just to see where the energy is at right now for you. Spirit, could we get a card for Soul Path 1 regarding their celebration, rewards, and successes, or the energy that is surrounding them right now? Okay, so there is heartache and loss. This is the Three of Swords in the traditional tarot. I feel like you've been, I'm hearing, gone through the gamut of difficulty. You've had some challenges in your life, and I feel it has to do with the heart space. So those connections that you have with people, maybe things that you were attached to, whether that be in your business, your work life, to other relationships in your life. You could have experienced some kind of loss. This could be a breakup. This could be a death of some kind. But basically, this is a very sorrowful or grieving energy. Something that really cuts to the heart is what I'm hearing and also seeing. So this is difficult energy, and it could be why the candle went out to kind of align the two messages there, is that you've been dealing with other things in your personal life or just in your life in general. So it's been really tough to see the celebrations and the successes and the rewards along the way because you've just been in survival mode. And I feel like that's okay for a time, right? There's nothing saying that we're going to always be in this mode of happy, positive, lucky energy. But that also means that we're also not going to be here either. So I'm getting the Wheel of Fortune energy. And what's interesting is that the Wheel of Fortune was at the bottom of the deck. And that speaks to things not ever staying the same forever. Even though it might be a long period of time in human years, in the whole scheme of life and universal time and energy, this too shall pass and things eventually do change. So the best way, and it might be difficult for you to move through this because right now I feel you are reacting to external circumstances and you are trying to move through this energy as best you can. So there might not be a lot that you can do to really make this energy go away. And so there's some processing and healing that might be required, especially when the dust settles. And I feel like there's going to be maybe some self-care practices that are going to be required in order for you to find some kind of center or ground while things are shifting and changing in your external world. And so, of course, when we're actively kind of moving with the changes, we can't really, take a time out and take a break and do things that relax us or brings us joy. But when we do have that moment of when we don't have anything active to do, there's a time for grieving and processing the feelings and the things that we've experienced. And there's a time to kind of get back to ourselves in a way and help ourselves be grounded, to implement a little bit of self-care. And that could be a salt bath. That could be being out in nature. That could be meditation. That could be some physical exercise, whether that be yoga or cardio or biking, however you see fit and what works for you. But it's about getting back into those habits that really offer us comfort and moments of stress-free thought. So I feel like this is just kind of coming in to maybe explain where you're at right now. And I do want to get another card for you. For Soul Path 1, any further messages regarding their current energy? Okay, watch for the signs. Follow the moon. What's interesting is both of these people, I always think that she has wings behind her, but it could just be that this is a little bit of a window or something, but I always like to think that she has wings, and this butterfly too has wings. So butterflies could be a sign in synchronicity for you. Angels could be another synchronicity for you. Hearts, daisies, moons. And so connecting to your spirituality, I feel, is really going to be beneficial for you at this time and really help you come into this energy of seeing the signs, and not only just seeing the signs, but seeing the good things, seeing the abundance, seeing the joys in your life. And this card also can come up for people as a sign to change behavior or your focus. So rather than looking for the signs of grief and sorrow and sadness, and again, I don't want to discount that process, but start implementing a moment or two in your day where you're looking for the beautiful things in life. And it could be those simple little things where you take a time out to have your morning coffee or your tea, or you listen to your favorite song, or you spend time reading a book. Again, 5 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day, 15 minutes a day, whatever you can squeeze out of your day where it's just for you. And it's just those moments of self-care and taking yourself out of that grief and sorrow for a moment and temporarily changing your focus and getting back into your healthy routines that will help your life to tick over more smoothly and maybe even start to shift. So let's get a peek into the tarot now. Get 4 cards regarding, there's your Wheel of Fortune again. However, I do feel like you're really coming out of the energy, this sorrow energy, this grieving energy, this difficulty. So that could be something to celebrate in and of itself. I feel you might be coming to the end of some cycle or some kind of process. And to keep your eyes peeled for that, to stay open to seeing that. One more. Thank you. Okay. So we have the Wheel of Fortune. And again, you know, life happens in cycles just like the moon. And so that is a promise that things will never stay the same forever. There is always promise of change with the Wheel of Fortune. There's always promise of things moving and evolving and growing. So then we have the Star in reverse. I do see your lack of hopelessness or a lack of hope here in the Star card in reverse. And maybe we've lost our way a little. There's a feeling that we can't find our North Star. We can't find our way forward, possibly because of this grieving energy. But again, with that Wheel of Fortune, I feel like it's all about what you focus on. But I feel it's all a matter of perspective at this point, because I feel the hard part might be behind you now. So now it's about actively participating in changing your focus or refocusing your efforts on that North Star, on the thing, that light within you that is going to guide your way. And we have the Nine of Swords and the Sun in reverse. So this is just reflecting, I feel, the energy that you have maybe embodied for some time. It could be some kind of cycle that you're coming to an end to. I see a lot of worry, possibly a lot of anxiety, and a lack of not seeing the hope and the faith in this particular situation. I feel like whatever it was very heavy, and it was just a turn of events that you had no control over. So if blame or shame are a part of this equation, I want you to remove that. And I feel like your happiness is going to come from that shift in perspective, from that refocusing and coming out of this dark period of your life. I feel like you will start to see the positive side of life again. You will start to see your inner light shine bright again. You will start to see glimmers of hope, but you have to watch for those signs. I'm just going to stack these to see if we can get a little bit more room here. You have to be open-hearted and open-minded about seeing the signs. You have to keep watch for the signs, because if we're kind of constantly focused on worry and anxiety and stress, then we're going to manifest more of that. So not to say that we need to constantly be in a state of happiness, but again, having our moments to process emotions and feelings and try to problem solve, but then also dipping our toe back into the light. And you have light on either side of this worry and stress. So I think in order for you to help relieve this a little bit, not to say that everything will go away as soon as you start doing this, but at least if we can live in our kind of our sun and our star a little bit more, where we're finding moments of happiness and joy and playfulness, or finding moments of purpose and a little bit of hope again, I feel is going to be really helpful for you right now. And I feel it's something that you might celebrate when all of this is done. I do feel that you're a really good listener. You really understand people. You really connect with people on a heart-centered level. And I think you do a really good job of kind of processing your emotions. So I think that in itself is something to really celebrate, because I think you feel things a lot deeper than a lot of people. So with that, you're able to transmute pain into something beautiful. And so even though you might not be seeing your rewards in the physical aspects, I feel this is a more emotional aspect, maybe even a more mental aspect where you can transmute your thoughts and filter them in a way. You can filter out other people's emotions as well. And if you aren't that person, then I feel that that might be some advice too. Because the Queen of Cups, she's very good at knowing her emotions, of self-care, of stabilizing her emotions, of knowing what is hers and knowing what is not, so that she's not carrying any emotional weight around that is from other people. She doesn't carry that responsibility. She will hold space for other people's feelings and emotions, but she won't take on the responsibility to try to fix everything and try to heal everyone, because that is up to everyone else essentially. So I feel you're really good at that. You hold space for people, and I feel like you really hold space for your own emotional experiences, and you're able to feel very deeply, which could be a positive and a negative thing. But whatever you're going through, Soul Path 1, I really get a feeling that you're going to start to see the bright side of things. You're going to start to move and dance a little bit better with the changing times. Now I'd like to get some clarifiers to see what this is all about. And we could also get some advice too. So we're looking at rewards. Yeah. Okay. We have the Ace of Cups in reverse. Yeah, there's just an overflow of emotion that I feel with this Ace of Cups. There's been a release here, an emotional release. Maybe even emotional overwhelm. I'm curious to get more cards now. The Star card in reverse. Star card in reverse. Okay, so this tells me, I did mention the Nine of Wands at the beginning of the reading, where you've put in a lot of work. And what I feel is that you've been so on guard for the last little while that this has somehow become a new normal. And so you haven't been able to thrive in this energy. You've been waiting for the next shoe to drop. This is the wounded warrior energy. So again, that survival mode is coming through again. That overwhelm of emotion is coming through again. And so it's almost been a little impossible for you to focus on the good things in life, to focus on the passions and pleasures in life, because you've had no room for it, emotionally speaking. Nine of Swords. What's this Nine of Swords about? Nine of Swords. Thank you. Right. Okay. So this is kind of what I was feeling. We've got the Temperance here clarifying the Nine of Swords. And this is what I meant earlier when I chatted about the Queen of Cups, about you being really good at taking something and transmuting it into something positive, more optimistic, or at least something that can be beneficial for you, rather than kind of stewing in a certain energy and feeling hopeless and stuck for a long period of time. You may temporarily feel hopeless and you can't see the bright side because you've got so much worries and anxiety and stress on your plate, but I think you need to celebrate the fact that you have and can take all of this emotional stuff and even this mental stuff and figure out a way to heal, figure out a way to really balance things again, to find a way to turn metal into gold, is what I'm seeing with that Temperance card, and really coming into a beautiful balance of having your toe in the water. So this lady has her toe in the water, but she's not fully immersed. So she has a sense of what's going on, but she's not defining herself or immersing herself in this particular pool of water or situation. She's dipping her toe in just enough to get what she needs and staying grounded with the other foot. So I feel like that's a little bit of advice for you there, but I really feel like you might already be good at this, where you can find your balance in really difficult times. So I feel like even though this isn't maybe the physical reward you were looking for, I think this thing that you need to celebrate and the rewards that you have received up until this point have been on a more spiritual and emotional plane. So there's some kind of growth that has happened over maybe the last 10 years up until this point, and I'm not sure that you see that. So there's a bit of acknowledgement coming from Spirit, like there are things to be grateful for, there are things to be optimistic about. It's just that it's on the intangible plane. So it's not something that you can put your finger on and say, that's it, or here's the physical reward that I have. This is more personal and spiritual growth that you have gained over a period of time because of this difficulty. So in that, I really feel like Spirit's really encouraging you to celebrate that, to have gratitude for that, because it's not easy what you have accomplished or achieved on that realm. Sun in reverse. Sun in reverse. Page of Wands. So there might be a tad bit of fear here. Now that you've moved on or are going to be moving on from this difficulty and challenge, I feel like there's a little bit of wavering energy where you're kind of wearing new shoes in a way, or you're starting out on a new path and it feels different. It feels a little bit foreign because you might not have walked this path in this way before. So there's a bit of a fresh start happening or a new beginning happening where you are moving from a place of purpose, passion, determination, having ambition, but you're a little nervous about doing that because it is new and you are moving from a new place spiritually and emotionally. So there's a lack of confidence, maybe a lack of self-belief or self-esteem here. Even a worry of making mistakes or needing to do things in a perfect way. Perfectionism needs to go out the window at this time, because this is all about you getting creative again and exploring again and connecting back in with your joys, connecting back in with that inner child to be playful and curious and explore and have fun, and officially moving away from this energy. But again, it's about watching for the signs and really opening yourself up to that and making a choice to focus on that rather than the worries that you might have or the stresses that you might have. Yes, you do have, everybody has stresses and everybody has worries, but how much time in a day will you dedicate to that? And how much of that time or thinking, how much of that is going to solve the problem? It's one thing to sit down and think about something for a long period of time and then finally have some kind of plan at the other side to get yourself out of this. But if it's worry for worry's sake, then it's just expending energy that is not going to be helpful for you. And with the Queen of Cups too, I also get like she's cheering. You know, when you have a full cup and before you drink, you do the cheers. So it's like the Queen of Cups is cheering you on, is celebrating this moment because it has opened up some new doors for you. It has opened up space for you to do new things, to feel new things, to release things. So let's get some fortune cards for you. Let's get 3. Celebration and rewards for Soul Path 1. Okay, vacation. You might consider a vacation. You might be taking a vacation soon. And look at this, you're bridging the gap. You might be successfully overcoming a problem which I feel you're already good at. And I think that a lot of this reading is about successfully overcoming difficulty. And then peace and harmony was the very last card. So I really feel like, I don't know, maybe a vacation will really help you bridge the gap between where you were and where you're going, and really create the space to unwind and enjoy life and have a little fun and just celebrate where you are now, where you came from, and all of the work that you've done from then and now. But I do feel like whatever heaviness you've been dealing with, you will overcome, you will transmute, you will heal from and process in due time. But again, don't forget to watch for the beautiful signs that are around you that are telling you that you are on the right path, you are abundant, you are healthy and happy in ways that I don't think you really see. So it's all about that noticing aspect. So let's get you a couple more oracle cards to end your reading, and I will send you on your way. For Soul Path 1, please. Soul Path 1. Soul Path 1, please. Soul Path 1. 2 cards for Soul Path 1. I don't think I knocked. I always forget. That actually was pretty strong. Look at this. Beginning a new cycle. We saw that in the Page of Wands. So starting that new cycle, just out of curiosity, grounding, that's another thing which will help you come to that center point of that wheel. Ground yourself in the midst of chaos, kind of like find the eye of the storm, the calmest point. Okay. So protected by angels, you're cherished by the angels. So I don't know if you are into angels or if you believe in angels, but we did see wings in both of these cards, and the wings are coming back here, so that could be quite significant for you. So feathers could be another sign that you could watch for to let you know that you are on the right track and to have hope, to hold on to hope. And those little signs and symbols that you might see that are meaningful to you, those are the moments where you can stop and celebrate something maybe. So protected by angels is this energy of you being protected by yourself or your higher power or your angels, your guardians, your guides, your ancestors. But to me, this always comes back to protection in general. So if we're thinking about it in the protection aspect, this is about protecting your energy, protecting your mindset, protecting your space, and the space to be comforted, to find peace and harmony, and to have a dedicated space or time to do that. And again, coming back to that focus of focusing on that moment of protection where you can step away from the stress and step into the center of that circle just for a moment so that you can regulate your emotions and de-stress for a moment, and you're constantly not in survival mode. But I do feel like you are beginning a new cycle, a new chapter, because things are moving, and the first light is kind of a dawn of a new day, of the sun rising again, which means that the darkness has faded or will be fading. So I really get that even though you might not see things as sunny as they could be, start to notice it a little bit more, because I feel that you're really coming through this dark period, this challenging time, and I really feel like life is going to return again. So this is what I have for you, Soul Path 1. I hope you found some clarity and guidance today. If you would like a personal reading, you can find the link for that in the description box. And with gratitude, I'm sending you my love, and we'll see you in your next reading. Hello, Soul Path 2. Welcome to your reading. So you chose the 6 of Wands from the Unfolding Tarot with the Purpurite Stone. And my candle has officially burned out. It burned out just as I was hopping into Soul Path 1, so I will have to go out and get a new candle. Now, when I was looking for the 6 of Wands, it took me a really long time to find it in the deck. I had to go through the deck multiple times. So I wonder if you have had a period of time where you haven't seen success. And maybe you're coming into an era where you're starting, or you're going to start to see rewards for your efforts, your hard work, all of the things that you've put into your mission, your purpose. Other people could be celebrating you as well, so you could get an influx of followers, or you could be recognized by peers. You could be winning some kind of gold medal for something. You could be an athlete. But before we get into the tarot, I'm going to pull a few oracle, or a couple of oracle cards to get an opening energy for you for Soul Path 2, Spirit, regarding the energy surrounding their rewards, recognition. Okay. So Deception and Envy, not necessarily a fun card. This is the Seven of Swords in the traditional tarot. Now, immediately I hear the mask is coming off, or the truth is going to be revealed. So is that a success for you? I'm not sure. Is maybe you feeling like you're in the dark? Maybe that is kind of why you have not seen the successes. Maybe the mask has, maybe somebody, yeah. It's like maybe you have to take the mask off to see the successes or see the rewards. Or maybe somebody has deceived you in some way so you can't see your successes and rewards. Somebody could be downplaying your successes. Again, with the message at the beginning where you haven't seen successes or rewards for a long time, is that because there actually hasn't been any, or is there some kind of illusion happening where it seems like you don't have rewards or successes or recognition for your work? Or maybe there's somebody that's telling you you're not good enough, or telling you or downplaying your the things that you have been achieving. Somebody who doesn't have your best interests at heart. We will see. You could also be in some planning stage right now, planning and strategy stage of the process, so you haven't quite seen the benefits from your efforts yet. Maybe you're in the midst of launching something and you have yet to reveal or release something. So let's see. What is this energy about, Spirit? One more card regarding their rewards, successes, things to celebrate. Okay, synchronicity. So there is things that are being aligned or coming into alignment that I feel is the reason why you haven't really been feeling celebratory about the things you've achieved, because maybe the thing that you are moving toward, maybe the thing that you're trying to achieve just hasn't been the right time yet. Now, it could have something to do with this person or this situation where either something hasn't been revealed yet and divine timing is kind of involved with that, or somebody is downplaying your successes and it's just a matter of time before their mask comes off and the truth comes out. So I'm getting a lot of timing happening here in the synchronicity card. And I feel like this might be a step along your path to teach you something important for you to have that end goal. So it's about kind of paying attention to the things that you're putting your time and energy into, and even those people that you're putting your time and energy into. So let's get into the tarot. I'm just going to shuffle these cards a little bit. And we'll get into the reading. So 4 cards for Soul Path 2 regarding their successes, rewards coming into their life. What should they celebrate? What will they celebrate? Thank you. One more. Okay. Okay, so we have the Page of Cups at the bottom of the deck in reverse. We have the 5 of Cups in the upright. We have the Chariot in the reverse. We have the 10 of Pentacles. It came out a little more reverse than not, so 10 of Pentacles in reverse. And the 9 of Swords in the reverse position. So what I feel from these is that there's a sense, possibly in your family dynamic, where there has been a lot of difficult emotional energy, as well as a feeling of lack of control in the people within your family unit. Now, I don't really feel a sense of safety or security or comfort in this family dynamic, which could be why this deception and envy is coming out. It almost feels like you know your family is one way and the external world knows them as another way. So there's a little bit of deception there because nothing seems like what it actually is. And I feel like you're a very powerful person. You're a very strong person. And I feel that you have done a lot of work into working with the mind and unraveling subconscious beliefs that you may have learned in your family unit. So there could be narcissism or mental health issues that you've really been able to step outside of yourself and not internalize that. Maybe at one point you internalized that, but I feel like you are no longer seeing things with rose-colored glasses. You are seeing things for the reality that they are, and you are working towards correcting that and coming out of that and living a healthier life, a healthier mindset. There is mental health, a feeling of a better mental health here as well. Now, this might mean that you are detaching from specific people in your family in order to create that space for peace and love and kindness and compassion for self. And there's a sense of you bringing back control because you are understanding how your subconscious was almost programmed by a bit of an unhealthy situation. I feel like I almost hear like your childhood got stripped from you. And so there is going to be grief that comes along with that because you missed out on some things in childhood that maybe you saw other kids experiencing, but you weren't able to because of what you were experiencing in your family unit. So I think at this point, you really need to celebrate the fact that you are taking the mask off. Whether people see it or know it or not, you are doing this for yourself. You are doing this to better your life, to better your health, to better your direction. And this is so difficult. So I think that you need to celebrate the fact that you're doing this really difficult work. And you are going to be releasing stress, releasing anxiety because you have discovered the truth about something. You are understanding that it wasn't you the whole time. It was everybody else in the family unit that was the cause of a lot of your stresses, worries, and anxieties. So now that you've uncovered this truth, I feel like there's almost a sense of freedom from this. So you really have to celebrate this because this is not a small feat. A lot of people have difficulty with this. A lot of people have difficulty transmuting this pain into something positive, but I feel like you're doing the work. You are transmuting the pain into healing, into knowledge, into wisdom that you can then apply to your future and make new choices from that healthy space. That is a big deal. And just out of curiosity, 3 of Pentacles was underneath the page in reverse, which just continues to tell me that there was not a lot of cooperation, possibly from the people in your family unit. I come back to family because of this 10 of Pentacles energy. This tends, there's a family in this particular card, but this tends to be a family that is kind of aligned with their values. They are maybe even well off. There's a lot of abundance here. There's a lot of a wealth that could be financial wealth or just wealth among the family unit where there's a lot of care and love, comfort, security, safety. But because it's in reverse, that's how I came to that conclusion. And this kind of just confirms that there was a lack of collaboration or working together to really foster something that was going to benefit everyone in the family. But you could be moving through this energy right now. So if you are, I want you to go really easy on yourself. And this might not be the time to celebrate, but I feel at some point you definitely should celebrate this moment, because it's just going to change your life in such positive ways, to uncover this truth and to understand a lot of your tendencies and how they related as a reaction to your family unit. So it's like you're claiming yourself back again. And that is the celebration. That is the reward. 5 of Cups. You know, it's interesting. I came into these readings thinking we would talk about, you know, all of the money and the work achievements, but a lot of these so far has been intangible rewards and celebrations of the work that everybody has been doing. So congratulations. We have another page. This is the Page of Wands, and we also have the 4 of Cups in the reverse. So yeah, it's like you're doing things differently and you're boldly going in that direction. I won't keep both of these cards out, but I feel like you're starting to, you're no longer people pleasing. You're no longer saying yes to the things that you want to say no to. You're no longer kind of towing the line and not upsetting the apple cart. I feel you're at a moment in time where you are ready to upset the apple cart because you are determined to live a happier, more peaceful life for yourself. And if your family unit or your people in your immediate circle are not willing to cooperate, then I feel you're going to go on your own and follow your passions, follow your joys, being ambitious without judgment, of doing the things that really light you up creatively. And I feel there's so much, like I feel fullness in my heart right now because of that. Because you weren't able to express yourself authentically as a child, I feel like now you're going to start doing that in the most beautiful way. It's like a firework. I'm feeling like a firework, where you're just going to explode out into the world with your love and your kindness and maybe your story, your compassion, your just your energy. It's just so beautiful. And that is something to celebrate. That is the timing that I think the cards we're speaking of, the Moon card, you have to wait for that moment, that right time, when those answers become clear, when the path becomes clear. Chariot in reverse. And the Chariot is also getting things in order and feeling a little out of control because your subconscious is driving the bus. Your subconscious is impacting how you feel, how you think, how you react to situations. So I feel like that is really coming to light right now. And your intuition, we've got the High Priestess in reverse. I feel your intuition has been impacted as well. So there could be a lack of trust within yourself. You, in the past, might not have trusted yourself to make decisions. You might have not trusted your own feelings. And you might have looked for external validation or somebody who knew better because of that lack of trust. So I feel like there's a reconnection to that intuition and that deeper knowing that something's not right here, or I know that this is not right, etc. And you're bringing that to light, which is going to turn the Chariot in the upright, where you finally are bringing back control into your life in a way that feels healthy and good and positive and uplifting, rather than you being controlled by things in your subconscious that are dragging you around and not giving you the results that you're looking for. So trusting that intuition and maybe tapping into that intuition a little bit more if you haven't already. So working on trusting those intuitive hunches and those instincts, learning how to say no to the things that you want to say no to, and unraveling that people pleaser in you that was born out of necessity. 10 of Pentacles. 10 of Pentacles in the reverse, please. Thank you. So 5 of Wands. Yes, there is that tension, that I was feeling within the family unit. I feel like everybody had a different opinion, a different way of doing things. There's a feeling of chaos here. There's a feeling of not having a plan. Maybe having the same kind of goal of maybe let's go on vacation, but then there was no plan in place. There's may have been some spontaneity. So the vacation would start at 10 p.m. and you'd just load everything in the car at 10 p.m. and then hit the road and not know where you're going. And there was fighting because everybody had different ideas of what that vacation looked like, and nobody had a map, so we didn't know where we were going, and it was the middle of the, for some reason that's I'm seeing that in my mind's eye. So please let me know if that's any confirmation of your story. But I just get a real feeling of chaotic energy, of maybe a lot of disagreements in the household, a lot of maybe even competition, possibly some bullying as well. Nine of Swords in reverse. I love that we ended on the Nine of Swords in reverse, because that means you're letting it all go. You're no longer carrying these burdens, these mental burdens. You're no longer carrying the truth of others. You are stepping into your own truth. I'm getting Ace of Swords here. And interesting to see. No, I thought for sure the Ace of Swords would come out, but that's okay. So Three of Swords in the reverse. Beautiful. To clarify the Nine of Swords in reverse, this is healing. Healing from heartbreak, healing from the pain, healing from the past, really doing the work. You should be really proud. This energy hasn't been easy. And yeah, this is just confirmation, I think, of the chaotic energy. Four of Wands in the reverse. So disharmony at home, disharmony in your foundations, your spiritual foundation, has been a little all over the map, a little bit chaotic. And so I really, I feel spirits coming through here to not just show me what you've gone through, but also really bring your attention to the fact that you're letting so much go. And again, I want to reiterate, this is not easy work. And I think the timing is right. If you were questioning if this is the right time to deal with this, to move through this, to move away from it, I feel like the synchronicity card is telling you that this is the time to do so, because you've carried this around for long enough. And to stand up to this truth is not an easy feat. It takes a very strong person to be able to do this. So congratulations on wanting better for yourself, wanting better for your life, and making those conscious changes to do that. Now, if you are challenged to know where to start on healing from this, there are some resources in the description box below. I'm not affiliated with them, but they could be a good starting point. Please use your discernment to make sure that they are right for you. You could also just, you could look for group support networks in your community, or you could look for counselors or therapists in your neighborhood that deals with this type of thing. If you are online, there's lots of resources online to help you with these specifics. Personally, I have devoted a lot of time to spiritual practices and to spiritual circles in my neighborhood, which are focused on different themes based on the person that is hosting the circle. And because the sessions are 2 to 3 hours in length, it has done a lot for me, more so than talk therapy, but talk therapy I feel is also good as well. I have done both. So again, it just depends on what works best for you, for your specific circumstances, and not discounting something. So try different methods and see what works for you. And again, if finances are limited at this time, then there are some free resources in the description box, which may really help you get a jump start on this at the very least. So let's take a look at your fortune now. We'll get 3 fortune cards for Soul Path 2. Where are they headed? Okay. A little bit of a danger there with the bear. That's okay. 2 more, please. Okay, thank you. So finances, because I said that, it's interesting that this came out because finances could be definitely an issue that you're working through right now, and that's okay. Hopefully you can keep your eyes peeled for maybe some community events that are free or low cost. I find a lot of group circles are lower cost than doing a one-on-one therapy session, so definitely check out the options, I feel, is part of that, especially if finances are limited. And just take note of your finances at this time. If finances are a little bit tricky, just be careful of where you are spending your money. And here we go. We have rat, someone working against you behind your back. So I feel like that's this guy here. Whatever this person is or whatever this situation is, that is this rat person that is working against you, who doesn't have your best interests at heart. So to be really mindful of that. And I almost wonder if those two are related in some way, where there's somebody around you who's not being genuine and who is asking you for money and, you know, not paying you back, etc. So just watch for that. And then seek out information that will help you. So we just talked about seeking out information in regards to your situation and getting more information on how to work through that. And so that could be blog articles, it could be podcasts or videos. Again, it could be support groups or therapists, counselors, etc. But definitely keep an open mind there. And let's see, what else does Soul Path 2 need to know, Spirit? 2 more cards to end their reading. 2 more cards to end your reading. But I just want to say well done. Well done for doing the work. Well done for being aware enough of your situation. A lot of people would ignore it, would brush it under the rug, would maintain the status quo, or end up, you know, with really bad mental health problems or addiction problems. And that's okay if you're working through that too. There's no shame in that, but I feel like you are very aware of how this is affecting you and you want to do better. So that's a beautiful thing. Okay, that took forever. Right, finding sanctuary, open to your spiritual source. So your spirituality is going to be a big part of this transition, this movement, this growth, this change that you're seeing in yourself. Having spiritual practices in place or connecting to a spiritual community will really help support you during this time and give you a bit of a bird's eye view, really taking you out of certain situations or mindsets or feelings, not necessarily to ignore them, but to process them and detach from them and not identify yourself based on those unhealthy beliefs or feelings anymore, but to understand them a bit better. And faraway places, get ready for new horizons. So this is a very positive card. And you could actually be finding yourself moving away to find your own sanctuary, whether that is your own home in a new city or a new country, to get away, physically get away from certain people or circumstances that is not healthy for you. But spiritually speaking, energetically speaking, I really feel like you're moving far away from something and getting that bird's eye view on things, of whatever this situation was, whatever people are involved in the situation. There are new horizons that are happening because of this work that you're doing. So I really feel like you need to congratulate yourself, to be proud of yourself. For the very least, if you haven't done any physical work yet, or energetic or spiritual work, at least celebrate yourself for the awareness that you're bringing to this situation. And just out of curiosity, uncovering treasure, beneath the surface lies great bounty. And that tells me that underneath the surface of what's going on, of the situation and you, generally speaking, this is the subconscious, what sits beneath in the dark, what kind of things lie in the shadows that are kind of controlling us in ways that, and pushing us to places that we don't want to go. So great adventure. So venturing forward and stepping into your power, beautiful. You are strong beyond measure, and I think that this reading is showing you that you are strong beyond measure, and that needs to be celebrated, my dear Soul Path 2. So this is what I have for you. I hope you found some clarity and guidance today. If you would like to book a personal reading, the link for that is in the description box. And with gratitude, I'm sending you my love, and we'll see you in your next reading. Hello, Soul Path 3. Welcome to your reading. So you chose the Six of Wands from the Everyday Witch Tarot and the red selenite stone. Now, I'm not sure what your reading is going to entail, but the first two readings, I came into this reading, I came into this video thinking that we'd be celebrating some beautiful things, celebrating some achievements and finances and business and career and money and love, but they've actually been celebrations that have been intangible, which has been really interesting. Both Soul Path 1 and Soul Path 2 had intangible celebrations where it was spiritually based and mentally based. So I'm curious to see what comes out in your reading today. But yeah, I wonder, I almost get Phoenix rising from the ashes, so we'll see if the oh gosh, not the Temperance card, the Judgment card comes out, but I really get a sense that maybe even graduation, there's a graduation energy here, so that could be something to celebrate. But Phoenix from the ashes is definitely something. You could be getting married as well. But before we get into the tarot, let's just get a peek into your energy, where you're at right now, what you might be moving through, Spirit. And my candle burned out right as we were getting into Soul Path 1. So, no light today. And that's interesting that a lot of these readings have been quite heavy. This whole month has been quite heavy, actually, for readings. I'm trying to keep things uplifting, but Spirit just wants to encourage people to work with the shadow and work through their difficulties. Let's see, Soul Path. See what I mean? My goodness, oh my goodness. So we have Suffering and Silence, which is the Nine of Swords in the traditional tarot. And this is about worry, anxiety, stress, and really having a lot of things on your mind, to the point where it's this rumination energy where you're thinking about something over and over and over again, to the point where you're overthinking it and not really getting anywhere. So this is like a hamster on a wheel, where the same problems exist, but there's no amount of thinking or worrying that will alleviate this. And I don't know what it is, but I feel like you feel isolated in this process. You might not be talking to somebody about this. You might not feel like you have support in whatever this is. So I will ask, is there a way for you to get support and not suffer in silence? Now, getting help could look like a number of things. It could be chatting with a friend. It could be chatting with a teacher, a mentor, a counselor. It could be joining support groups specific to your situation, or working on your spirituality so that you don't feel so alone in this process. And where you might be able to uncover some answers, because I feel like what you've been doing up to this point hasn't really gotten you further from where you started. So it's about bringing in a new modality, a new mindset. And that sounds really easy to do. It's much more harder in practice, but I feel it's taking those steps to identify the cycles that you've been in, the mental cycles that you've been in, and to try to find some kind of resolve for good from them. And to not stay silent about them. I think the silent part might be the most challenging, because we can only give ourselves a certain perspective on things. And when we talk it out with somebody, then they might be able to reflect something different to us, or give us a new way of seeing it, new perspective, or even help us problem solve, depending on the situation. But bottom of the deck, we have the Universe, which is the world in the traditional tarot. And it's about tying up loose ends and finally putting an end to whatever the cycle might be. But I feel like whatever you've gone through has been quite challenging, quite stressful. So to be able to finally put an end to this is I feel something to celebrate, absolutely. So you see what I mean? I'm trying to keep things uplifting and positive, but Spirit just wants to talk about the intangibles, mental health and spiritual health and emotional health. So let's see, one more card for Soul Path 3, please. And you know, what's interesting is that a lot of my readings are focused on self, because everything starts with the self. Our external world is created by how we feel about ourselves. The three-dimensional world is a reflection of ourselves. So I have to celebrate Spirit and thank Spirit for that, because you know, it's okay to, you know, it's almost easy to look at the external rewards, whether it's money or bonuses or cars or houses, or, you know, those are the tangible things that we can measure to say this is what we were successful at, and this is what we did to achieve that. But it's much more difficult, but much more rewarding when those achievements and celebrations and rewards come from within, because our external world becomes much more expansive, where it becomes less about the things and more about the experiences and the people we connect to, and the things that we call in manifest because of the way we feel about ourselves, the way that we think, the way that we move through life. So it makes sense that Spirit's talking about these intangible things. Face your fears. So there could be some fear in speaking out. There could be some fear in communicating this, in working through this, and I'm not really sure why. You don't have to tell me, but I think Spirit is just coming through to encourage you to face the things that you're fearful of, which may alleviate that stress, anxiety, and worry. So let's use a really simple example. Say you have a fear of water, which I do personally. Instead of avoiding every single body of water, find a space that feels comfortable. So today I took my dogs to the beach and the tide was going out. So we found a spot where it was a gradual descent into the deep end. And so you could walk in 1 foot at a time. And yes, it would take a really long time to get into the deep end, but you could almost control your exposure to the thing that you're fearful of. And if you only wanted to go up to your waist, then you could only go up to your waist. Rather than facing your fear by diving into 20 feet of water, you're essentially dipping your toe in and moving 1 foot at a time to the point where you feel comfortable enough to get in up to your neck and start swimming. So I think that's what Spirit is encouraging you to do, especially if you are dealing with something in the mind, you're overthinking about something, or you're stressed or anxious about something, is to do things really slowly and to have some kind of support around you to be able to not do this alone. So let's get into the tarot now, and let's see what Spirit wants to chat about regarding Soul Path 3 and their rewards, their celebrations, their successes, their achievements. Let's take a look. What is this all about? Okay. All right. So where to begin? We have the High Priestess. We have the Knight of Pentacles. We have the King of Cups in reverse. And we have the Page of Swords in the upright, with the Lovers in reverse at the bottom of the deck. Oh, interesting. 2 of Cups at the right underneath that. Wow. Okay, so this could have to do with relationships. Could have to do with the people that you find yourself in relationships with, that might offer you a sense of stress, insecurity, anxiety, worry. Now, I feel like you're a very in-tune person. You're very aligned. You're very intuitive. You are very sensitive. And I feel like I think you feel like that's part of your issue or your problem, is that you're too sensitive, or you know things that you don't want to know. I feel like you're really in tune with the people around you, with your environment. And there's almost a sense of shame in that because, and I want to touch on HSP because HSPs, I think only 20% of the population is an HSP. And so we are, and I say we because I am one, and we are not only very in tune with our emotions, we're in tune with the world around us, with other people's emotions as well. So we know things before other people know things. And we can pick up on things like that. We're very detail oriented. So if something in our environment shifts or moves, it could be a small thing in a home, for example. Somebody has moved a lamp, you can pick up on that right away. Or if you're sent, you can almost see through people's energy, where they're putting on a happy face, but you can see underneath that they're quite upset or they're quite sad, maybe even insecure. So I think that you can see beyond that mask. And that could be why the suffering in silence is coming forth, is because you feel very alone in this feeling, and you are sensitive to sounds. You are sensitive to maybe lights. You have an oversensitivity to your environment, and there's a lot of introversion that comes with that, because when you get overstimulated, you can't regulate your own emotions. And when that happens, then you react in ways that you wouldn't normally react like, and you might cry a lot, or you might feel really drained, or you might not be able to process things in the same way that you would if you weren't overstimulated. So I feel like I need to congratulate you on being the sensitive person, because I used to think of it as a flaw. I used to think of it as a liability, because I couldn't be like everybody else. I couldn't go to social events and concerts and have this active life that everybody seemed to do so freely without any issue. I felt really strange to say to people, small talk drains my energy, when small talk is 90% of the conversations that you have with people at parties, for example. So when you go to parties, you feel drained because, the third person in that you're chatting to, you're chatting about the commute or the weather or jobs or whatever it may be, or shows that you're watching on Netflix. And to you, I feel like you need a deeper conversation with people to really have that connection. So I feel in the past that you have seen this as a liability and that you are alone in this feeling. First of all, I want to say hello, you are not alone. If you are an HSP, or if you're just an overly sensitive person in general, you may have heard in the past like you are too sensitive. So I think this needs to be celebrated. I think you need to really appreciate this about yourself, because it is a beautiful gift. I almost think of it as magic. And that's what I feel with this, is that you have this magic ability to sense things that nobody else can. And how cool is that? You also can feel things and maybe even see auras, or be able to do energy work that just comes naturally. You don't have to learn how to do it. You just naturally do it. So I feel that is such a cool gift that you really need to celebrate. So, coming back to the cards now, the Lovers is this energy of feeling out of sync, out of balance, maybe in relation with others, but maybe in relation to yourself. And maybe not having a real solid foundation with yourself, of not feeling in harmony with all of the sides of you. Maybe you have a lack of self-love because of this gift that maybe others have told you is a liability, is too sensitive or too much. And I feel like that is what has pushed you out into silence, to suffer in silence, because people have pushed you out there. You have not been in the right relationships. You've not been connected to the right people that understand you. And it's really tough when only 20% of the population has this. It is very difficult, but I also want you to understand that it's okay that you're like this. There's nothing wrong with you because you're like this. By understanding it on a deeper level, you will be able to work with it better, is what I'm saying. And I'm telling you that from experience. and it will no longer cause you anxiety. You might even have some enjoyable experiences going to parties or concerts, etc., and being in that overstimulating environment, but it's all about management. And with the King of Cups, this is about that management of emotions and really coming to accept how you feel, honoring how you feel, and not allowing other people to guilt you, to shame you, to make you feel less than or othered because you feel like you need some downtime this weekend, or you need to not go to this thing because you're not feeling your best. So by going there, you just know that you're going to feel overstimulated and you won't be able to manage yourself the next day in a way that feels grounded and settled. Speaking of grounded and settled, we've got the Knight of Pentacles here, which is this energy of moving forward toe by toe and facing those fears in a very logical, practical way and in a very slow way. This is not trying to change yourself or fix yourself or to make things better right away. This is about finding what works for you and testing the waters of dipping your toe in and figuring out the practicalities and the realities of what you want versus your limitations, and accepting your limitations while also pushing them a little as well. But again, pushing them little by little and not all at once. And then we have the Page of Swords, which is that understanding, that fresh new knowledge of being open-minded about learning new things about yourself and not trying to fit to a specific social norm that, oh, I have to be going out every weekend with my friends, or I have to be going to certain events and concerts, and I need throw that out the window. You have to only do what works best for you. And I think being open to learning what that looks like and how you can manage your emotions by using your intuition and working very slowly towards finding what works for you, and taking note of your emotional cues when you're feeling unsettled so that you can figure out what it is that you need at that time. I feel like that's going to be really important for you in helping you to face your fears and helping you accept who you are and finding those people that make you feel safe, secure, comforted, and accept you no matter what, rather than push you away into a corner. A lot of messages here, but you may have had challenges in romantic relationships because of this. It may have really impacted how you show up in relationships. So all the more reason to have this understanding and try new things, moving towards the goal, whatever that goal may be, in a very mindful and practical way. Yeah, so we have the Ten of Swords in the upright with the High Priestess. So this is about letting go the things that you have had on repeat in your mind, because right after the Nine of Swords is the Ten of Swords. So it can be a very painful energy when we are so stressed and anxious and reactive all the time to our environment and the people in it because we are not getting what we need. So it's about coming back into and honoring the internal wisdom that you know, and understanding and not internalizing what other people have said or done, to not take that as truth. Because I feel like you might have internalized a lot of stuff that people have said to you in the past, which made you feel like you were not welcome in some way. Knight of Pentacles. Yes. Nurturing. Finding your own sense of security and comfort in the things that bring you that sense of grounding. Those could be self-care practices to calm the mind, to ground yourself in some way. But to do this at a very slow pace. I feel like you don't move as quickly as the rest of society, which is natural given that you take in more information than most people. And because of that, you need time to process things. So offering yourself the time to process things might be really important to you. And I feel you're really going to be stepping into this energy, moving from the Nine of Swords into the Nine of Pentacles, where you are really offering yourself this space to really be in your own element, to really be independent and being confident in your body, in your mind, in your soul. King of Cups in reverse. King of Cups in reverse. King of Cups. And by working, or not working, but understanding this trait, or how you move through life, or how you think, or how you feel, and really honoring that, you'll be able to figure out what works for you in a way that will attract new people, new experiences in your life. And the Chariot in reverse. So yeah, there's just this out of control energy here. And that's not to say you're out of control, but you're feeling like you can't control things because things are moving too quickly and you don't have time to process your emotions. So you might be very reactive or get very stressed or anxious in certain situations because you haven't had a moment to ground yourself, to process things, and to give yourself time to do that. So I feel like you need to really celebrate who you are and what you need, because there's nothing wrong with that. And there's this acceptance that's coming through of, I can't move as quickly as the rest of the world, and that's okay. I need space and time to process my emotions, and that's okay. I need to feel grounded and safe and secure within myself and within relationships, and that's okay. So again, that acceptance and understanding, that deep wisdom. We're bookending this with wisdom. And I think you're on this new path of figuring this out. So congratulations to you for working through this and bringing awareness to this uniqueness about you, to the point where you're now getting curious and open-minded about, I need to explore this more, not to fix, not to change, not to improve, but to understand and to work with it and to turn it into magic. Beautiful. Page of Swords. And that's really going to, because you know yourself on such a deep level, it is going to change your external world. It's going to change your relationships. It's going to change your reactions, the way you show up in relationships. It's going to attract new relationships that are so different than what you're used to. So all the more reason to face your fears, because I think there's so much good that is going to come from this. And we have the Ace of Wands in the reverse. The Ace of Wands is this fresh energy of understanding your purpose, understanding your whys, planting a seed for something new. But I feel in order for you to plant new seeds, in order for you to take those ambitious steps into your future, you have to start from the ground first. And the page is fresh energy, new energy. There's a certain level of understanding with the page. He knows enough to be able to become, an intern on this new path, and to be willing to make mistakes, to be willing to take the journey, to master whatever this is. With the swords, it's communication, it's the mind. So I think that's part of this journey for you, is that rather than suffering in silence, you are moving into an era where you are taking the knowledge that you're gaining from this experience or this awareness. You're on a path to mastering the way you think, the way you communicate, and you're no longer suffering in silence because you're going to learn how to communicate to people what you need. You're going to offer yourself what you need. There's an understanding here. There's a wealth of knowledge that comes with that. There's an ability to cut out the BS that is only going to serve to harm you or to make things difficult for you. And then with this Ace of Wands in the reverse, I feel it's going to turn upright, where once you have that knowledge, you're going to start to create a new life. This is the seed of something new, seed of creativity, the seed of a new will, a new passion and desire, even new purpose, and a start of a spiritual expression to which you're no longer afraid to face your fears. You're just doing it naturally. And so celebrate yourself for the wisdom that you have, for the intuition that you have, for doing things differently, for being sensitive, for being so thoughtful that it becomes so much ingrained in your mind that you can't let it go. That's not a bad thing. It's just about managing that a little bit and taking things on our own stride so that we can gain a sense of control within ourselves and within our lives, and even connect to new people and experiences because we are honoring and celebrating who we are. So, Soul Path 3, let's get some final cards for you. We'll get some oracle cards after this, but right now we're going to read your tea leaves. 2 more. 2 more for Soul Path 3, please. 2 more for Soul Path 3. Okay. 2 more. Thank you. Thank you. All right, so first one that came out was Tower, solid foundation and success with effort. Beautiful. I think you're on your way. You are building up what you have torn down. The Tower card in the traditional tarot is this energy of essentially blowing everything up so that you can make room for the new stuff to grow. And I feel like now you've maybe have done that, and you're creating a solid foundation based on that authentic self and your intuitive knowledge. Period of prosperity and abundance. We like that. And I think that's going to open up for you. Psychic ability. There it is again. Trust your intuition. So yeah, building that trust with your intuition. Not being afraid of those hunches, of those instincts, even if they go against what your logical mind thinks and what other people might think or say or do. This is about kind of coming back to you and exploring that a little more, of leaning into that a little bit more. It might be a little uncomfortable, but this is how we grow and learn to trust ourselves, to trust our judgment. And that could be part of that facing your fears. So we will now get final 2 oracle cards to end your reading. Soul Path 3, 2 cards to end their reading, please. Soul Path 3. These have not been jumping out. Okay. As I say that, 1 more. It's like they're waiting for the perfect card. All right. Okay, so first one that came out was Begin Now, Take Your First Step. Love that. And that is that page energy. That is that begin now energy. You're taking what you know, you're leaving the comforts of what you know and what you've done before that may not have worked so well in the past, and you're starting on a new trail. You're open to the adventure, you're open to learning what you need to learn along the way, and you're on your way to new horizons. Traveling lightly, simplify your life. So both of these people are off on a path. They're moving in the direction that their intuition is telling them to go, and they're traveling quite lightly. Both of these people don't have a ton of stuff to carry around. So I really feel like this is a new chapter for you where you're stepping into the direction that you want to go for yourself. You're stepping more into your authenticity of who you are and honoring that a little more, bringing a little balance back into self and aligning yourself to the things that feel good and taking your time along the way. These people are also, because they are traveling lightly, because they don't have a lot of stuff, I feel like they are leaving what they don't need behind them, which is energetically, emotionally, and spiritually freeing them up for new things. So I feel that's where you're headed, Soul Path 3. So this is what I have for you, Soul Path 3. I hope you found some clarity and guidance today. If you'd like to book a personal reading, you can find the link for that in the description box. And with gratitude, I'm sending you my love, and we'll see you in your next reading.